What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of MMAnomaly Show, the no filter, with the co-host as usual. I'm gonna get it right the first time one of these fucking days, dude. Jive Turkey Nano, what's up, brother?
Yo, my man, Olin, my brother. How we doing, bro, baby?
We are doing good. We are doing good. We are doing great, and we are happy to be back.
Absolutely.
We survived the weekend hanging out. You survived the following weekend at Coachella.
Yes.
I mean,
it's been a busy couple weeks, my brother.
It's been a very busy month.
Yes, busy month. A lot of good memories. Some fun fights. It was a busy weekend for the just fighting world in general.
It was. Sorry, go ahead.
Now I was just gonna say, what do you want to lead us into it?
Yeah, man. I mean, before we even jump into this current card that's going on now, I mean, we can definitely go over a quick recap of some of the fights that we had happen this last weekend. The biggest one that we had was obviously not even an MMA fight. It was Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I thought that fight was going to go a different way, if I'm being completely honest with you. When it comes to that fight, I thought it was going to go a different way. I thought that Ryan Garcia was going to utilize his reach a little bit more. I thought that he was going to lead the dance and not be led in the dance. Gervonta Davis just came in with a much better game plan, and it showed through and through. He did that thing that John Jones does where he leaves his hand in your face the entire time and then, boom, just circles around whenever you launch an attack. But I'm curious, what did you think of that fight?
Yeah, it was a good analysis, man. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it. I was at Coachella, so only got to see some of the highlights and some of the exchanges that went viral. Obviously, the knockdown, I think, in round 2, and then the one in the 7th that ultimately put him out. But yeah, the one in round 2 is really class act. I mean, everything that I felt was going to happen in that fight ended up happening in terms of Tank just showcasing he's the better boxer. He can withstand the punches. He knew what Ryan Garcia was going to throw. And the way he was ducking underneath it every time, making it look easy. You thought Ryan was going to adjust. You thought Ryan was going to throw something different. But same thing, and hey, if you give a professional like Tank the same look over and over again, he's going to eventually hit home. And Ryan left himself exposed, got knocked down, clean shot to the face, took it on the chin, showed he was in good shape. Obviously compliments to Ryan for sure. Showed his heart. But then that body shot, man, I mean, tough body shot to take. And then you're starting to hear the things about this guy coming out and saying he hurt Ryan. There's all this conspiracy, this controversy. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Tank just outclassed him. And I'm hoping to see that maybe fight again down the road. But hopefully they carry this momentum into the boxing sport in general, and we see some more big matchups.
So Tico Tech says Ryan walked out to some soft ass music, and I knew it was over when Tank walked out to Chief Keef.
Yeah, I mean, different energy, right? Different levels, different breeds, right? Even the crap talking going into it. I mean, Ryan could tell he was trying to force it, trying to sell the fight the best he could, but that's not like him. He's not.
I actually thought really Ryan was getting the better of him in the trash talk.
He did good.
Factor.
He did good.
I thought he did well for somebody that usually just doesn't talk any trash at all. But yeah, it did definitely feel forced. It felt like, it was like if Stephen Wonderboy Thompson tried to talk trash.
Yeah,
it didn't feel like it made much sense. Even with the injury, you'd think he would protect the body more since he still fought. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, it's hard to protect the body when you expect someone to go to your head. And the way that Tank was setting up that body shot was perfect. He literally would wait until his opponent would throw the lead hook, leaving himself exposed on the outer side, and then just sneak it right in. It's the same exact way he landed it was like, if you look at the shots side by side that dropped him in the second round and the shot that finished him, they're the same exact shot, same exact setup, just a different trajectory and angle. One went to the body, one went to the head. Perfectly set up. Beautiful, brilliant game plan by Tank and his people. We know that he works with a world-class team. That being said, I'd kind of like to see Ryan Garcia switch camps, see what happens if he goes with maybe a different management team as well. I think Oscar De La Hoya has probably taken him as far as he possibly can. And if he were to go with somebody like maybe an Eddie Hearn, might be a really good look for him. Eddie Hearn would probably represent him a little bit better, set up better fights for him, and also just kind of groom him to be the best boxer he can possibly be.
I think that's the most important thing right there that you said, Olin. He needs to focus on the boxing aspect. We already know he has his Instagram following, he has his sponsors, all that good stuff. But let's see him work on the holes that he displayed, right? Let's see him look at the tape. Maybe get a new set of eyes on there. Be honest with them of like, hey, this is what we're seeing. This is how I would game plan against you. This is what he did. Hey, go to the lab. Go ahead and work on it. Talented as all hell. Still, an elite fighter. But he's gonna have to, and then what's next is always the big question after a big loss like that. For Tank, it's maybe the winner of Haney versus I actually don't know who Haney's fighting now that I'm thinking of it, but probably for a championship belt or a unifying belt of some sort, I would think for Tank. And then Ryan, give him another top contender, another big name, but he should probably take, I'd say at least maybe 8 months to a year off to.
Haney's fighting Lomachenko.
Oof, that's huge. So that'd be a fun one. That's a big one.
It's a big fight. I think the winner of that arguably should fight either, no matter who wins it. If it's Haney, if it's Loma, I think either one, the winner of that should fight Tank, in my opinion. Right. And I think that Garcia should get a top-rated, like top 10, 140-pound fighter, boxer. And I mean, I think that that's not out of the question for him. Realistically, he displayed holes in his boxing game. I think if he polishes things like the jab and head movement, a little bit better footwork, right? Relies on his power hooks a little bit less. He'll probably be a significantly better fighter as a result of that, right? Mm-hmm. So, let's see here what Tico Tech LLC said. How about David Morrell Jr. on the Davis Garcia prelims? Clean right hook for the finish. That was nasty. Dude, you ain't lying. That was absolutely disgusting. I have nothing I have nothing else to say about it other than beautifully set up, perfectly placed, and made it look like his opponent didn't even belong in a boxing ring. And his opponent doesn't have a horrible record or anything. I actually put a tiny amount of money on him because it was just monumental. So he was a big underdog, and I found out why. Next time I will be putting a possibly large amount of money on David Morrell Jr. I know that you didn't get to see that one, Nano, but we'll definitely have to show you the replay at some.
I'll have to go back for sure. And I'm sure I'll be seeing that guy's name again soon. It's a big card to get a win on, 100%.
Yeah, and he was the co-main event too. So I mean, it was nasty. It was absolutely nasty, dude. He was actually live on his Instagram today. I think he was in the ocean, just shadow boxing.
Oh, there we go.
The ocean.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Literally like something out of a Rocky movie. It was dope. Kids living life. That's for sure. So jumping into the MMA fights that happened last weekend, since this is after all an MMA podcast, we had a pretty monumental win for a young man named Sergey Pavlovich. He looks like a supervillain from the old school Captain America comics.
He is a scary guy. Looks like
before we jump in, Tico Tech says this. Sorry, his opponent had more experience by a significant margin. Falcao was 24-2-1. Morrell Jr. was 9-0, 8 KOs. So again, like I literally looked that stuff up. I also went back and watched Falcao's fights, and I was like, okay, he's actually really good. He's not a bad boxer at all. This like 9-0 guy might have bitten off more than he could chew, which is why I thought it might be a smart play, just throw a tiny sum of money on Falcao. Proved to be wrong, and that happens.
Immediately regret that.
Immediately regret making this decision. So yeah, Sergey Pavlovich, supervillain from the old school Captain America comic. Nano, your thoughts?
Yeah, he looks like Mr. Incredible in real life. The dude looks scary. I mean, the man's built like an ox. I mean, strong. Those cost him the win. And again, didn't get to see him live, but saw the highlights from it. And he took some shots from Curtis Blades, another top contender heavyweight. Very impressive, man. I mean, he wore him, ate him. I mean, dude has an iron chin. Dude has iron fists. He's extremely scary. I mean, I think I just saw that the rankings, they have him second behind Sorel Gone. Much deserved. Maybe they throw him in there against Sorel next as kind of that top contender to face the winner of John Jones and Stipe. But I'll tell you what, man, this guy's. I think I've seen some comments. He's like the Russian Ngannou. It's something you like that. He's scary, man. He's fun to watch.
He's fantastic. I think he's too fast for a lot of these heavyweights, and he's just a demon, man. He's got hands from hell, and I mean, just like what Eric said here too. Just a caveat to that, dude. Blades has to be the biggest upset in sports next to Aaron Pico, huh? Yeah, I agree. Aaron Pico is one of those guys that he's Icarus, right? Flew too close to the sun too fast, burned his wings up, and just fucking plummeted back towards the earth. And the sky was the limit for that guy. So we thought. Same with Curtis Blades. I thought Curtis Blades was going to end up being the person to upset John Jones, to be completely honest with you. This showed me that I would have been equally as upset if Curtis Blades fought John Jones, and I put a small sum of money on Curtis Blades, as I was on Saturday when I put a small sum of money on Falcao against Morrell Jr. But we're going to stop talking about that.
Moving on.
Tico Tech LLC says, damn, I agree, Eric, unfortunately. I mean, it seems to be the crowd consensus here that Curtis Blades, I don't know if maybe he plateaued too quickly and he stopped being able to game plan for these advanced opponents that he's fought recently. But he's proven that he can be knocked out. And at heavyweight, you've got to have a really strong chin. That's like number one on the must-have list when you're fighting a 265-pound man that's built like a fucking gorilla.
Yeah. I think this new wave, this new heavyweight like hybrid that we're seeing, this big athletic freak that can put some hands on you, that are throwing technical strikes. I mean, sometimes throwing caution to the wind, but it's good technical boxing in there. They're throwing leg kicks. He is a bit one-dimensional in his wrestling game, and he's gotten better with the striking. He did display that, but it didn't matter against the freaking juggernaut in Sergey, man. He's fun to watch.
Sergey's terrifying. He's a terrifying individual. Before we move on to this week's fight card, the upcoming fight card, and our picks for the Kinda Okay Parlay, I've got to say, what do you think should realistically be next for Sergey Pavlovich? Because if we're being completely honest, I think he should jump the line and he should be the one facing John Jones. Especially if they're having issues making the fight happen between Stipe Miocic and John Jones. What do you think?
That is interesting. And with John Jones, from his perspective, he just signed a new contract, a long-term deal. So he has fights. I know he's been wanting to fight Stipe. It doesn't seem like Stipe's stuck in it either. It kind of seems like they're both pointing the fingers. Like, I don't know why it's stalled out. I don't know if it's a timing thing or what. Realistically, do I think Sergey deserves it? And do I think that'd be a friggin' fireworks matchup in John Jones versus Sergey? Absolutely. For the title, inject it into my veins right now. Sign me up. What do I think is realistically going to happen? I throw him against Cyril. How much time does he need? I mean, it sucks, but that's the one and the two. Maybe that's that kind of.
I hate that fight for Cyril, but it's logical.
I mean, there's no one else there when you're Sergey and you're that impressive. I mean, there's no one else at the top, right? I mean, but like you said, maybe if John Jones, well, no, I guess if John Jones and Stipe don't come to fruition, he's the obvious number one guy. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's 100% a no.
But we'll see, man. I don't know. I'm excited. He's just like, I don't know. No one expected him, man. He came out of nowhere, just throwing a wrench in the entire division. I love it.
He's a monster of a man.
Yeah.
Again, if I could have my dream come true, he would fight John Jones at International Fight Week, and I'll see him there.
I'm sure he'd sign up for it.
We will definitely see. So Tico Tech LLC said he's only really lost to Francis, Derek, and Pavlovich, and has 7 wins between those fights. He can still get the strap in the future. He's only 32 years old. And he's referring to Curtis Razor Blades here. I agree. My response to that in the chat was 32 is fight prime, and he's still got a lot of tread left on the tires. The reason I said that is mainly due to his fight style, right? He doesn't actually give up a lot of damage in these fights, or rather take a lot of damage in these fights. And the nickname Razor Blades is perfect for him because his elbows are razors, right? As soon as he gets on top of you, he can slice you open. He can get the fight stopped very quickly with ground and pound. And we've seen that happen. In those 7 wins, didn't take a ton of damage in most of those, which is why Tico Tech LLC agreed and said absolutely, especially for heavyweight. Ghana versus Pavlovich or Aspinall comes back to Pavlovich. Either one of those is a title eliminator. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest. I am one of the biggest Tom Aspinall fans you'll meet probably, and I freaking hate that fight.
That's scary.
I hate that fight for Aspinall's comeback fight. Yeah,
it's scary for anyone.
He's coming back after a big surgery on his knee. I don't love that fight for Aspinall at all. I want to see Aspinall come back and fight somebody that I don't want to say is like beatable, but somebody that's more beatable than fucking Sergey Pavlovich. Like, give the guy a break, man.
Come on, man.
It's his first fight back. That's tough. So,
yeah,
yes, that fight makes sense, but please, God, no. So, jumping into this week's fight night, it's UFC Fight Night Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone.
Simone.
Man, this is a very fun fight. This is a very fun fight card. It's UFC Fight Night 223. I don't know what the hashtag is going to be for it, but either way, we're going to jump right into it.
It's Vegas in the Apex, I think, right? Just another.
Yeah, like we're going to run through these fights. We're going to run through this Vegas Fight Night card. And then after we go through the fights, we're going to tell you who we picked for the Kinda Okay Parlay. I think we actually have a pretty solid one here. It's actually just the boys here for this one. Me and Nano, the Jive Turkey himself. So we will go ahead and jump into the first fight. We have, or had, Brian Boom Kelleher going in against Journey Newson. And that fell off today. So now we have Marcus the Maniac McGee making his UFC debut, coming in against Journey Newson. Now, these two men are basically two men that have lost. Or no, sorry. I'm thinking about the next fight already. Good Lord. I'm thinking about Cody Durden versus Charles Johnson. I'm so excited about that one because, you know, it's two of Muhammad Makhayev's most recent victims in that one. What I'm excited about this one, Marcus the Maniac McKee, is the man is a maniac. He basically goes out there and finishes every single person that he fights, or he loses. He only has one loss, though, so that's been working out pretty well for him thus far. And his opponent, Journey Newson, has not necessarily had the best run of things as of recent. He's had a pretty tough go of things, and I don't think that this is going to be an easier matchup for him than Brian Kelleher. I think the biggest threat in the original matchup between Brian Boom Kelleher and Journey Newsom was realistically going to be the knockout power that Boom, nickname appropriately, presented. Right? Because we have seen Journey Newson get knocked out before. We've seen him get knocked out by a head kick from Randy Costa. And that wasn't that long ago. That was just back in September of 2020. And then he just recently lost. He's actually coming off a loss from Sergey Murazov. And that was a unanimous decision loss. Again, his new opponent, Marcus McGee, is 6-1. And of those 6 wins, all 6 of them are KOs/TKOs. So the man comes in and just has ill intentions. He wants to hurt you. He wants to put you away. And he can get it done many ways, right? But the most prominent way seems to be punches. So I think in this one, he's going to come in, proof to do the same thing again and get it done with punches. What do you think, Nano?
Punches and bunches. I love that analysis, brother. And yeah, I think starting with Journey Newson, who, you know, was already scheduled to fight. We've been knowing he's going to be on the card here. Journey's had, well, let's just call it a rocky journey, to say the least here. Like you mentioned, a few losses on his record. Since 2019, he's only had 1 win. And aside from that, dude is a very strong, very muscular-looking 135er. Has proven to have some heavy hands. Some fast kicks, very explosive. He does have that 1 win, like I mentioned, against Fernando Garcia, where he did like show his ability to establish his distance, use that explosiveness, his snap in the kicks, you know, switching stances a lot, able to get in and out of range, showed some good head movement and footwork. But he's going to have a tough test on a very short notice. I think only a few days here for him to prepare for Marcus the Maniac McGee fighting out of a local Arizona, one of my boys here, AZ, got to represent. But he is, again, taking it on short notice. I'm curious to know what kind of shape he's going to be in terms, and now talking about Marcus, that is. The one thing I do know about him, like you mentioned, he's a dog. He finds a way to finish his fights. I do know that he also trains with Suga Sean O'Malley. He's actually one of Suga's main training partners, which is pretty significant in my opinion. As someone that's going in there and giving Suga Sean honest rounds, you see where he's ranked in the division at the very top. I think that's a good sign for Marcus and his ability to go in here, even though it is on short notice. Again, he's working with some top talent. I know he's going to go in, make the most out of his opportunity. We've seen it in this fight game. You got to be ready. We know there's another fight that was just scheduled on a few weeks' notice. Maybe we'll talk about it later. But again, you never know when your number's going to be called. And I know this guy's always ready, so he's going to bring it. He's a dog. And like you said, Journey Newsom's shown an ability, or unfortunately a willingness to get hit. As much as he wants to give a punch, he's willing to take one as well. So I do think Marcus is going to shock the world here a little bit. Kind of shock Journey, not knowing how to game plan for him. He's going to be able to weather the storm and knock him out with that heavy left hand. Jeez, can't talk today. But that's what I'm thinking, brother. I agree. I think Marcus is going to take the dub here on short notice.
JJ Smoke coming in with the smoke as usual. Saying Newsom by decision, my guy. You always like to come in here with these I don't want to say crazy picks, but man, I mean, a lot of times you end up getting stuff right, so I can't even call them crazy. I'll just say premonitions. But I think the lead lefty's going to get it done here. I think Oh, here we go. Let's see what Tico Tech LLC said. I get fired up whenever we get to see a Mikhail Oleksiejczuk fight. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm actually pretty stoked about that fight too. I think it is going to prove to be a solid fight. Why do I think it's going to prove to be a solid fight? Because it's fucking Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, right? He doesn't typically put on boring fights, and he's going against Caio Baralho or Chao Baralho. I don't know really how to say his name. Caio Baralho. The name's so nice, you want to say it twice.
Come on.
Caio Baralho. But seriously, the guy is an absolute maniac. That's one of the fights that we're definitely going to be talking about in this episode. And fun fact, that's one of the fights that actually is on the Kinda Okay Parlay.
Oh.
So we're definitely going to be talking about that one a little bit. Yeah. Moving into the next fight, we have Cody Durden, who is the Wish.com Tyler Durden from Fight Club. Nice. Going in against Charles Johnson. These are two of Muhammad Mokaev's most recent victims in the UFC. They're now going against each other. Since fighting Muhammad Mokaev, both men have actually gotten both a decision win and a TKO win, which is kind of crazy. Charles Johnson, however, has faced the tougher opposition, in my humble opinion. Due to that reason, and mostly that reason, I just think that Charles Johnson's going to go out there and get it done. Very, very similar records in this one. You got 14-4 for Cody Durden going against 13-4 for Charles Johnson. Both 32 years old, as I just said, is the fight prime in this sport. 5'6" height versus 5'8" height. 67-inch versus 70-inch reach. The reach is probably going to be the biggest difference, and Charles Johnson is the one that walks away with that 3-inch reach advantage. He does have, I believe, the better striking. We just haven't really had a chance to get to see it. Why? Because they just keep putting this poor young man in there against killers. And not only killers, but killers that are killers in the wrestling division, right? Or the wrestling department for that matter. I mean, they had him go in there against Muhammad Mokaev. They had him go in there against Zalgaz Zumagulov, Jimmy Flick, like Ode Osborne, who was his most recent loss. Like, Ode Osborne is a monster in that division, and everybody who watches this sport knows that. So a loss to Ode Osborne, especially in the year 2023, which if you forgot, that's the year we're in right now. That happened just 2 months ago. That's not necessarily a huge knock. And I think Charles Johnson gets it done anywhere the fight goes. I think he's a better grappler. I think he's a better striker. And I think that reach and the way that he utilizes the reach is going to prove to be a real problem for his opponent, Cody Durden. What do you think, Nano?
I love that, brother. Yeah, I think I'd agree. I'd agree with everything you mentioned there. Starting with our boy Charles Johnson here. Yeah, he's a special striker, really. When you watch him fight, he switches stances a lot. He's kind of bouncy, keeps those hands down, kind of that if see then do kind of style, right? But I love it, man. He throws his shots from very sneaky angles, and he's really a fun fighter to watch. I would consider him a showman, right? And yeah, unfortunately, that does sometimes leave him to be a little bit exposed. Like we said, he is coming off a loss from O'Day, but that's okay because he's still a beast. No harm there. But again, those flashy kicks, the punch combos are going to be fun to watch and are going to be his way to victory. Cody is a tough son of a gun, Cody Durden, no doubt about it. He's been in there again against Muhammad Makayev and against El Guapo. Chris Gutierrez has a draw against him. But outside of that, Cody does do a good job of mixing it up. And I think his big advantage here is going to be the wrestling. He averages about 4 takedowns a fight, which is probably going to be his best path to victory. Can he use that slick boxing? Can he get inside? Can he grab a leg? That's going to be the big question here. I don't think so. I don't think the crotch sniffing is going to work in this fight. I do think that our boy Charles Johnson, for many reasons, but most importantly, I think just his explosiveness, his just fun and unique striking style is gonna lead to a fun knockout or a fun finish here come Saturday night. Let's go. And the words that you were looking for is a look-see-do fighter. The first time I ever heard that said inside of the octagon was when Bruce Buffer announced John Jones after John Jones asked him to say that about him. There we go. Look-see-do.
Random little fun fact.
I love that, but it's so true. It's like he has
he beats people with their own style. He out-wrestled Chael. He outboxed Alexander Gustafsson. Like,
come on.
I hate the guy. But what are you going to do?
That's what he does, man.
What are you going to
do? But Charles is similar in that vein. It's unique. It's like if you're watching his tape, you don't really know how to find a training partner for that. His ability to switch stances while he's doing like his entries, brilliant. Very fluid. Yeah. And last thing is like one of my favorite things is when you throw a leg kick or a body shot and he's already throwing the hook right or the straight jab right behind it. And then
throw a looping just like cross or like an outside hook to just catch you off guard. He's nasty with it, man. And like you said, the fluidity is there. It's fun to watch. And my guy, I'm here for it. I'm here for it all day. So I'm super excited about that fight. That might be one of the most exciting fights on the fight card this weekend for me. This is kind of a watered down fight card. We definitely had a couple of fights get canceled. We had Emily Ducote versus Polyana Viana get canceled. Probably a good thing. I'm a big fan of Polyana Viana just because she's a big fan of Naruto, and I'm a big fan of Naruto. Check that too. So I probably would have put her on the Kinda Okay Parlay, and we probably would have lost because of that. So blessing in disguise, ladies and gentlemen. The one that isn't a blessing in disguise, for us anyway, maybe a blessing in disguise for Money Moicano. Hinato Moicano versus Arman Sarukian's fight got pulled, and I'm super bummed about that one. I think it did get rescheduled and pushed back, which I am excited for because I'm excited to see it, but super bummed that we're not going to get to see it this weekend. That being said, we do have some really exciting fights coming up, and the one that I want to talk about is Josh the Renegade Quinlan. He's coming in against Trey Waters, and he's got a couple of nicknames. I've heard him be called Bushido, and I think that that's a more fitting nickname because he looks like a fucking samurai. And also, much like the Bushido, he doesn't put up with any bullshito. He destroys people. 6 fights, 6 finishes, 4 by way of knockout, 2 by way of submission. The man is just a stud. He gets it done. What is there to say about this fight other than the fact that it wasn't supposed to happen? The original fight was supposed to be against Anje Lusa, who I think would have been a much better matchup for Bushido. Now we're getting Trey Waters, which I don't think is a terrible matchup, but I don't want to just steamroll through this whole thing and take the lead on all these. So what are your thoughts, Nano?
Yeah, brother, I love that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, another one that we weren't supposed to get at first, Not only has there been a couple of cancellations on this card, but this is the second reshuffling of opponents. Have no fear. Still some good fights are near. But yeah, Josh Quinlan, man, the Renegade, undefeated 30-year-old, coming off of 2 KO hot streak, trying to keep his KO hot streak going with coming off 2 of them now. An impressive left hook over a KO over Jason Witt. And before that, he had a flurry KO against our boy Urban, which ended up being a no contest, which I thought was interesting. But he showed a lot of promise here, and I think this will be a really good test for him. Again, getting the fight here on short notice, Trey Waters, give him props for that, man. I think less than a week he's taken the fight. And I believe I heard on Ariel Helwani's show and the boys, they were talking about how Trey Waters actually just fought for a different, like, some Vegas title. He fought in another...
For the LFA world title.
LFA world title. How could I forget? I mean, the only... The one LFA title.
The Legacy Fighting Alliance, baby.
Sheesh. But he just fought for that like 2 weeks ago, or within the last week, and now he's fighting again. The man's a savage. I give him props for that. Has a 7-1 record, 28 years old, with only 1 decision. So this guy also finds ways to finish the fight. His only blemish is a loss against one of the talented Bonfim brothers in Gabriel Bonfim, when they had their come out party a while back. Again, that doesn't diminish Trey's value in my eyes. I do think the fact that he's 6'5" is actually pretty crazy here for the division. He's freaking huge. A 5-inch reach advantage. Does tell me stylistically that might give Josh some problems. But overall, man, I do think Josh, the Renegade, is going to find a way to renegade his way on through and get a W here on the guy that just fought, taking on short notice. I think the momentum tells me, and my gut's telling me that our boy... Bushido here. He's not going to take any Bushido from Trey. He's going to get it done. Bushido proof.
Bushido proof, baby. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I completely agree with you. Here's the thing. I think Josh, the Renegade / Bushido, Quinlan, I think he's just the better fighter here. He has less fights overall, right? He has 2 less fights, but he also has 100% less losses, which is fantastic. It's a good look. Now, like you said, the only loss that is on the record of Trey the Truth Waters is at the hands of Gabriel Bonfim. The Bonfim brothers are no joke. However, he did get submitted in the very first round. That's a bad look. Again, I know we're dry in the first round. It's the best time to get a submission, but if it happened once, it could definitely happen again, and it happened just last year, not that long ago, back in September. Now, how did he bounce back from that? Because we all know, a loss doesn't matter. What matters is how you bounce back from it. He bounced back from it by coming back to LFA in April. The very next professional fight he had was for the LFA title, LFA 156, Fuller versus Waters. His name was on the headliner there, and he was losing that fight up until the very moment that he won it. I'll be the first to tell you. He was getting lit up. He was getting outclassed in that fight, and he came out of nowhere and like he had a truth to deliver. Trey the Truth Waters. He got that knockout in the second round, 2 minutes and 53 seconds in, and I just think that JJ Smoke pointed this out. The KO was fire. His last fight was fire. Trey is going to be the tallest welterweight in the UFC. You know what that reminds me of? The tallest heavyweight and tallest fighter in the UFC. Great guy. He does good interviews these days. His name's Stefan Struve.
The skyscraper?
The skyscraper, Stefan Struve. He got knocked the fuck out by a lot of guys. He does have a very impressive win over Stipe Miocic back before everybody was able to get a win over Stipe Miocic when he was like fight prime Stipe. That being said, I don't think him being the tallest welterweight in the UFC, he could be the tallest welterweight in the world. And I don't care. I would still pick Josh, the Renegade / Bushido Quinlan. I just think he's a better fighter. Josh should win this due to the better overall experience. I think he's fought better guys overall. He has better power, in my opinion. And he was prepared to fight Anže Lusa, who I think would have been a harder fight for him. So I am going with the boy, the man, the myth, the Bushido himself. We're going with Josh. And for the record, Trey and Josh definitely sounds like a Nickelodeon show. 100%. Moving into the next fight, we have a fight that I am deeply excited about. This is probably either my first or second most excited fight on this fight card. It's up there with Cody Durden and Charles Johnson. Caio Borralho going against Mikhail Olegchaychik. Tico Tech LLC, where you at in the chat? Man, this fight could go many which ways. Nano, do you want to start this one off? You want me to start this one off?
I can set the tone. I'll tee it off for you to bring us on home, since you're obviously pretty uber excited over there. But no, Caio Borralho, I think is how you say it. I was listening to the John Anik.
What did you call him?
Caio Borralho.
Caio, he called you a hoe. I heard that.
Caio Borralho is no hoe for show.
You already know.
You already know. I'm telling you though. But Caio looks to be a natural fighter, man. Just like his name suggests. Looks to be a freak of nature out there, man. Super explosive. I don't know what's in the water out there in Brazil, but he seems to be the next freak of nature coming out of there, I swear. His athleticism jumps out when you're watching him fight, and it shows. 70% significant strike accuracy, 2 takedowns a fight. That's his recipe. He's really going to want to try to take it down, try to beat you up on his feet. Doesn't really have that many holes. I mean, he's good in the clinch. He's good grappling, good on the ground. Again, he's Brazilian, so he has that pedigree. But, man, his opponent is no joke. As much as I want to just sign it off and seal it, sign, seal, deliver, Caio's going to, walk away with it. It's not a walk in the park. This guy, Michael O, let's just call him. I don't even want to try to butcher that name. Has some very impressive finishes on his resume, man. I don't know if this fight sniffs a finish at all. I think someone's getting put away here. I think these guys are going to come out swinging. I think Michael O has some really heavy hands. He has a really pretty left uppercut. That southpaw, man, he's good on his feet. He throws everything into it. Really good defense. Good with his defense, takedown defense. Good with his striking defense. I'm curious to see if he can weather the storm of Caio. Again, like you mentioned, these aren't household names, but this has every bit of a reason for you to be excited. And I think you got to mark our words here, man. This has fight of the night written all over it, and one of these guys are going to have an impressive finish here. It's going to be some fireworks. Let's go. Look at that. That's the discount Paulo Costa. Think you're muted, brother. Can you hear me? I don't know if I can hear you, brother.
My goodness, I was on mute. Amateur hour here.
Oh, no.
I was just blown away by how incredible this guy's presence is. Because, I mean, sorry to discredit what you said, because it was great and all, but my guy, that is the Brazilian Johnny Cage.
Yeah, he's
from Mortal Kombat.
Soft.
That's him. That's the guy.
I like it.
We have Costa at home. This is the Costa at home. So I mean, let's what is this? Olegchaychik. Olegchaychik. Yeah, Mikhail Olegchaychik. Love it. Michael Lowe. Dude, so Olegchaychik coming in here against Borralho. This fight is going to be one of the funnest fights of the night, I think. Why do I feel that way? I'll tell you why. These two guys go out there and leave everything on the line. They're two guys that want to knock each other out. They're two guys that want to get the finish any way they possibly can. And not only that, but they're two guys that have a lot of different paths to said finish, if we're being completely honest here. Caio Borralho is a guy who has not had a loss since 2015. The man is on an I don't even know how many fight streak, because I don't want to count that high. But he's fucking killing it. The guy hasn't been beaten since 2015, and it's not due to inactivity. His opponent, on the other hand, who I am a big fan of, Tico Tech LLC, not trying to get the hate here. He's very young. He's only 28 years old, but his most recent loss was literally just last March against Dustin Jacoby. Now, I think Caio would be a bad matchup for Dustin Jacoby, and I think Dustin Jacoby is an animal. That being said, again, Mikhail Olegchaychik, his greatest, most notable wins are over Modestas Bukauskas, Sam Alvey, and Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage is a pretty notable one in my opinion still, but Sam Alvey, he was on like a 16 loss streak, I think, or something like that, man. He's been losing since 1992. and then you have, Modestas Bukauskas, who is fun to watch fight. I actually really like Modestas Bukauskas, and he is on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Chuck Campbell, he beat Lee Chadwick, and he beat Tyson Pedro most notably, and that one was literally just here in February. So the fact that he has a win over Modestas Bukauskas is something that has aged incredibly well. That being said, I think the odds are stacked against Oleksiejczuk in this one. I think Baralho has more power as far as one-shot power. The cleaner overall striking is probably going to go to Oleksiejczuk in this one, but if I have to choose a winner, I'm going Kyle Baralho getting it done inside the distance. I think he gets a finish here, and I don't want to say he makes it look easy, but I don't think he's going to make it look like it was hard.
I like that analysis. I think I'd agree. Like I said, can Mark Oleksiejczuk weather the storm? Because we know Kaio's going to put it on him, man. He's showed he's super explosive, very athletic. He'll jump and shoot at you. He'll throw some combos. He'll grab a leg. He'll clinch you. He'll judo throw you down. Like, the man's scary, and he's finds a way to win any position that he finds himself in, at least so far. And to do the math for you, he's on a 12-fight win streak. He lost his second fight in the UFC. He's 13-1. I did the reverse math. I'm like, well, he's just beat everybody since. So the man's on a heater for sure.
Wait, he lost his second fight in the UFC?
It was his second pro fight. Let's.
Oh no, it wasn't in the UFC. I was about to say, dude, no, he doesn't have a loss in the UFC. I was like, hold on.
This was.
Dude, you shook my confidence for like a half second. I was like, hold on, did I do my math wrong? Has he lost recently?
He's only been in the UFC. Yeah, his first fight.
Yeah, I was like, he hasn't been in the UFC since 2015, bro. He's young.
My bad. And his fighting career. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase.
Yes. Yeah, no worries.
Give the confidence. No, Kyle's the man. He's the man. No. Let's pump that back up. He's a stud.
That's back in Brader Fight 3.
Bradar
Fight 3. He lost to Joao Carvalho. Which,
back in 2015, almost 10 years ago now. Yeah,
that's a heralded name in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Carvalho. So, jumping into the main event of the evening, we have, it's not my dong, it's ya dong. And not only that, it's Song Yadong coming in against Ricky Simone. Man, good Lord, this is a fun fight. You have two guys coming in here against each other. Song is 3-2 in his last 5. Ricky is 5-0 in his last 5. But I had a beer in Sacramento Airport with Song's coach, or one of his coaches. So I kind of have to go for Song in this one. I feel like I have to go for Song in this one. And there's also a reason that it went from plus odds on Song Yadong day before yesterday to go into a minus pick'em. Song has shown vast improvements at Alpha Male. I don't know if they're going to be enough to beat Ricky Simone. That being said, one of Ricky Simone's 2 most recent losses was actually a TKO loss to Song's head coach, Uriah Faber. That's tough. Oh, wait a second. There's something here. Oh man, breaking news just delivered via the chat from Tico Tech LLC. Figueiredo versus Manel Kape is off of International Fight Week. Figgy cannot get medically cleared. Boy, if that's not a sign that he should probably just go up and wait like he was already asked to do, I don't know what is. That sucks. But, of all the fights that have been announced for International Fight Week, that's the one that I'm least excited about. So I'm least let down to hear that one get let go, if I'm being completely honest. I hope Manel Kape stays on the card and gets a game opponent that's ranked highly, but I'm not really super sad to see Davis and Figueiredo go.
Yeah, go get healthy, man. He had a great run with Brandon Moreno, and I think that's really his claim to fame. They're always going to be tied together in history, but yeah, similar to you, right? I don't think I felt any way about that fight. Would have been fun, but there are some other ones on that card that we were looking forward to even more too. So Yeah, get well soon. Keep Manuel Cape on there on the Cape or Cape, however you say it. Keep him on there though. Hopefully, find him a dance partner. I know it's coming up quick though. It's going to be tough. Cap. Let's keep Cap on there. Don't cop out of it.
No cap.
Cap.
There's no cap out going on here. So sorry, jumping right back into that kind of derailed my train of thought here, but jumping back into Ricky Simone versus Song, the Kung Fu Kid Yadong. That's a great nickname. I had no idea that was actually his nickname.
That's sick.
That's a pretty fantastic nickname, if I'm being completely honest with you. Again, like he's had a tough go at things, and one out of his 2 defeats were from pretty impressive people. Like Kyler Phillips, I would say is a pretty mid-tier opponent at that weight class. He is someone that shows potential in growing and becoming a real threat in later years, but 2021 is not that year. However, his most recent loss was to Corey the Sandman Sandhagen, who I think is a future champ, or at the very least a continual contender for championship here. And that one, he got a doctor stoppage loss. Like it's not like he wanted to lose. However, he wanted to out. The doctor stopped him. Also, he was just getting blasted the fuck apart by Corey Sandhagen in that fight, if I remember correctly. It was hard to watch as a fan. And this is just memory. I didn't go back and rewatch that fight, but I just think that as much as I want Song Yadong to win this fight, I think it's Ricky Simone's fight to lose, based on skill and technique. What do you think, Nano?
I like that. Yeah, I like that analysis. Ricky's definitely the more seasoned veteran in the UFC in terms of more fights within the UFC octagon. Just longer experience under his belt. It feels like he's a little bit older. An impressive 20-3 record. His only losses, like you said, to Uriah Faber and Rob Font in 2019. Definitely a rough year for our boy Ricky. However, since then, he's earned his 5-fight win streak with finishes over Rafael Hassansau, Jack Shore, along with the decision over Brian Kelleher, who isn't on the card anymore. But Ricky's a dog, man, and that's how he fights. Kind of that shelled boxing style, looking for the counter, short hooks, and the first chance he gets to take you down, he's going to go ahead and do that. And he'll go ahead again and try to take you down again and again and probably again. He averages 6 takedowns a fight, extremely high number, extremely impressive. He's gone 5 rounds back in 2017. This was before he was in the UFC. So can he keep that endurance with his wrestling? And can he avoid the nukes that Yadong Song's going to be singing his way? That's really the big question for me. I think, part of me wants to lean towards Ricky, but man, technically speaking, like Yadong Song is a really freaking good striker. He's definitely the better striker here in this matchup. One of the better strikers in this stacked division. He has some heavy hands. They're fast. He has good distance management, really good shot selection. That KO on Marlon Moraes was phenomenal. Chef's kiss back in March of 2022. And he's only 25 years old. He's still getting better, still in his physical prime. Not a lot of tread on those tires. And even though he does have a lot of experience, it's weird to say. 19-7. He actually has more fights than Ricky does, but 5 years less than Ricky. Simone. I think that's maybe an advantage for Yadong here. Is going to be his youth. It's going to be his superior striking skills. Can he defend off the takedowns? Can he take that octagon experience with elite fighters to get him over the hump and get him through this 5-round fight? You did bring up the most recent bout he had against Corey Sandhagen, and I did rewatch at least the highlights and rewatch the full thing. You're right. Corey landed some really heavy elbows. He was slicing and dicing. That's what Corey does. But Yadong did win, or at least was scoring points on some of those exchanges as well. I don't know how I would have scored the fight. I just watched like the little highlight reel on YouTube. But even that, Yadong was holding his own against, again, like you just mentioned, Corey Sandhagen, a perennial contender, a top tier, a top 1, 2, 3 guy at all times in this division. I think that's a big deal. Again, I think it does boil down to the wrestling here, but man, a part of me thinks that Yadong Song can find a way to get it done within the 25 minutes before Ricky Simone, starts taking him down and having his way there. I think he could find a way to hurt him on his feet and put him away.
So you're saying you think Song Yadong finds a way to put him away?
I think so. I like Ricky a lot. Like, my gut tells me I want to lean that direction, but man, Yadong's he's nasty with it, man. He can put it on you. Yeah.
I mean, look, I agree with you. I think Song Yadong has a lot of skills that he represents and brings to the table. I think he has a lot of paths to victory as far as the striking openings go. But I'm going to bring up two things. Okay. Those two things are going to come down to records and recency. Recency bias is a son of a bitch. We all know that. However, this isn't that recent. This is just me looking analytically and statistically at what we've seen in the past to predict what we're going to see in the future, right? It's what we do in the world of sales and marketing, kids. So doing it for the fight game. So what have we seen happen in the past for Song Yadong? Well, his two most recent losses are going to be Corey Sandhagen, which again, recency bias is a son of a bitch. Looking at that tells me there's a lot of holes in his stand-up game that can be exploited. If we completely ignore that fight and we look at his other loss before that, it's to a much lesser opponent, in my opinion, in Kyler Phillips. I'm not saying Kyler Phillips is a trash fighter. He's actually a really great fighter, but he's not a top 5 fighter right now. That's not to say he can't be in the future. However, when he fought Song Yadong back in just 2021, not that long ago, he went 3 for 5 on takedowns. That's a 60% takedown accuracy. And he was able to get well over a minute and a half of actual control over Song Yadong. Again, that's no Ricky Simone. Kyler Phillips is not half as strong as Ricky Simone. I think Ricky Simone bulldogs him and hits him with a fucking Bill Goldberg style spear out the gates, gets him on his back and controls him for at least 3 minutes of the first round. If you do that, you're going to sap those big, strong muscles of Song Yadong's out. And then that alpha male overhand, it's going to fold. It's going to fall apart across the distance, just like it did against Corey Sandhagen. He had a hell of a first round against Sandhagen, if I remember correctly. But then after that, it was just all downhill. I think it's going to be very similar to Ricky Simone, except the differential is going to be Simone's going to be very wrestle heavy, thus negating even the first round onslaught of Song Yadong. That being said, again, we don't have Jalen in there for the parlay. I wasn't going to play the parlay opening. We were just going to jump into it, but I actually love the parlay opening, so we're going to play it anyways.
MMAnomaly proudly presents the Kinda Okay Parlay.
So the Kinda Okay Parlay is here. We are ready to go. Again, it's just me and Nano this time around. I think we have a good one here. Feeling pretty good about it, being completely honest.
Same.
So this is what we got going for you guys today. I don't know. Oh, there we go. I can zoom in on it.
Ooh,
boom, baby.
Nice.
So we got a 3-pick parlay for you folks. We got Caio Borralho minus 345. We got Stephanie Egger coming in against Irene Alexieva. And we got Charles Johnson coming in against Cody Durden. All 3 money line, all 3 minus odds here. $10 on it to win 29.48. I think this one's going to hit. Feeling pretty good about it. Reason being, I've already told you why I feel good about Caio Borralho. We've already both told you why we feel really good about Charles Johnson here. The only one we haven't really talked about is Stephanie Egger. So we'll go over that one very quickly. Not going to put you on the spot here and make you go over anything super crazy. What I will say is Stephanie Egger is supposed to fight a young lady who has had a very, very questionable past in mixed martial arts. Now, the reason I say that is because, A, she's one of those folks that doesn't even have a picture on Google whenever you Google UFC. And it shows the little round pictures. Stephanie Egger versus blank face, Irene Alexieva. They call her Russian Ronda. That's literally her nickname. I'm not making this up. So Russian Ronda, I'm assuming Ronda Rousey, because they think that she's going to armbar everybody. She was one of these people that I guess looked really good, and then everybody wanted to sign her. And then something happened. There was a weird hiatus, and she's 4-1. Okay. So in the year 2019, she had 4 fights, which is very impressive. That's Adesanya like. She fought Gulnara Guraeva and won by TKO. She fought Shazota Rakimova and won unanimous decision in a 2-round fight. She fought Zlata Sheftor and won via armbar. Maybe that's when they started calling her Russian Ronda, because that's the only armbar she has to her name. And then she fought Lilia Kazak, lost a unanimous decision, and then fought Stephanie Lilo Page and won a unanimous decision in Bellator. So she fought for Bellator one time, got signed for Invicta, I believe, but then never actually fought for Invicta. They let her go, and then the UFC jumped on her as soon as they could. It's just a lot of weirdness for me. She also has fought one time in the last, almost 4 years now, since 2019. So she's coming in there against Stephanie Egger, who is no slouch. She's 8-3, which isn't the winningest record you'll ever see, but her last loss was to Mayra Bueno Silva, and before that it was Tracy Cortez. So like, she's not losing to scrubs, folks.
Yeah. And I think the one thing that stood out with me for Stephanie Egger, and why I definitely was willing to co-sign this KOP kind of okay parlay with your brother, was she has 8 wins, but 4 submissions, 3 KOs, 1 decision. I mean, for any female fighter, any fighter in general, if you are finding majority of your wins not leaving in the hands of the judges, I mean, hey, that's a good sign. You're finding a way to get it done. And that shows she's well-rounded. She's got it. She can take it anywhere she needs to take it, and put this poor girl out of her misery.
That's
take her around the shed.
She can get it done anywhere the fight goes. She can get the finish anywhere the fight goes. And that's why, in my opinion, it should prove to be her fight to lose. That's the kind of okay parlay. Did we want to look at any unders or overs or anything? Throw any side bets here, or we want to call it?
We should look at some. I mean, I think we should throw some in. Maybe if anyone on the chat wants to hop in, I'm willing to.
JJ Smoke, where you at?
Take all, please. But who are we looking at? Let's pull it up. Pull it up, Jamie.
Here. I got you. Here, I can share my screen too. Here we go, my guy. Boom.
Boom. Love the new layout.
So here we go. Me too. It's a beautiful layout. So, we wanted to look at rounds. So there's also fight to go the distance. So that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Actually, we wanted to look at what? Fight props. Here we go. Oh, total rounds. Under half a round? No way. Under 1.5. What is Stephanie's? Yeah, Stephanie has a lot of finishes.
That's the thing.
Oh man,
you're getting plus odds for under.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm getting plus odds for under 2.5 even.
Under 1.5.
If you go to Fight Lines, go to Fight Lines.
Oh, whoops. Fight Lines. Boom. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, they added it on this. Fuck yeah.
Let's go. We can double dip on our girl Edgar over here.
I'm not mad at that. Under 2.5 plus 120. Yeah, I like that. We're going to hit that for sure. And then, oh man, Cody Durden is definitely finishable.
Yeah.
Oh man,
we don't have to double dip again.
But it's a flyweight fight. Flyweight unders always hit like 9 out of 10 times.
Is it flyweight? Okay,
I just looked it up. It's a flyweight fight. I had to confirm
plus
it.
Odds too.
Yeah, plus odds on flyweight unders. We got to take that.
Come on.
Oh man, I don't know anything about Fernando Padilla, but that's juicy on the over for Juicy J. pun intended.
Nice.
Hold on. Let's check out this Fernando Padilla guy. Is he finishable? What's happening here? Let's check out. He looks like a child on his Tapology. Oh my gosh. He has braces in his picture.
Oh, jeez.
And he literally looks like he's like shirtless at a college, but it's not. He's at a gym for sure. Canceled bout, decision, elbow in round 2. Oh no, we're not gonna do that. Because that's over 2.5, huh? Yeah, no. I changed my mind on the Julian Erosa one. I think what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna ask, what do you think?
I was gonna say Kyle Baralho. Oh man, let's check the chat.
I mean, both those guys. I think both of them are gonna be looking for the finish. Personally, I mean, it's even for under 2.5, it's minus odds. But I mean, if we were to parlay it with those 3, I mean, that's looking pretty nice.
Let's see.
Do you have a?
What do we think? Do we think it's gonna be under or over? We think it's gonna be under, huh?
Man, I mean, the way they fight, I feel like someone's gonna go. I don't know though. I mean, I can be swayed. I think those are the 2 I was looking at.
I also think there's no way Ricky Simone Song Yadong goes 4.5 rounds.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
There's no freaking chance.
We should just go big or go home then, huh? $5.
Yeah.
Looks like get you 80.
That's what I'm saying.
83.
Like 5 to get 83. I think that's a fucking banger of a parlay.
Could just do 10 for 160, get a little bit more, huh? Go big, go home.
Or we could do 5 on the parlay and then 5 on the guarantee and be up anyway.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
On that first one?
I mean, or we could do it on the Charles Johnson one, because I think either one, I think both those fights are going to end up being for sure under.
Yeah. I'm not for either one.
I was like, wait, did we go under
is
on
a
every one of
four-leg.
them? That's amazing.
Classic.
Unders all day. Yeah, I like it. Either one of those, I'm happy to put the extra 5 on. I'll send you the Venmo.
I think we should do 10. I think we gotta go 10.
Let's do it. Let's do 10 on that. Oh yeah, to win the 167. Why not?
Why not, dude?
Oh man.
All right, I'm locking it in.
Oh man.
I'm locking it in right now.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Let's go.
I'm already looking at odds for next fucking fight card right now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a few.
There's some really
here.
good ones, dude. I wonder, is one gonna be on there for next week?
I don't know. Is Bare Knuckle on here? Bare Knuckle would be a good one. There's some good fights on there.
Oh, dude, if BKFC's on here, I'm down to throw some on some BKFC parlays for sure. There's some good ones. Is that this weekend? That's next weekend.
It's the 29th. It's Saturday,
Oh, what
I believe.
the hell? Hold on.
Or Friday. No, is it Friday? The 29th.
It definitely won't count as boxing, right? No way. Hold on.
Saturday.
BKFC DraftKings.
BKFC 41, Colorado.
It looks like they've done it in the past, but not all of them.
Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Oh, I do got it.
Oh, you have it?
Yep.
Let's go.
But I can only do the main 2. I can only do Eddie Alvarez, Chad Mendez.
Oh, Chad Mendez all day.
Okay.
All day. Is there over under odds on
It's
that
just
too?
minus 20 on Chad Mendez, yeah. Plus 100 on Eddie Alvarez. Mike Perry's minus 215. Rockhold's plus 185.
Oh, I'd take Rockhold on that. You want Perry, don't you?
No.
You fucking dog.
No. You saw my face.
I saw your face. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Dude.
No.
How
Honestly,
could you?
Dude, Mike's just so funny, dude. I just love Mike. Perry.
Mike's he wiped a booger on him at the fucking,
that's exactly why.
Stare down.
It's the most disrespectful thing that you could ever do. That's why I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. But
look at Matt in the chat here. Fuck Rockhold. I hope he gets smoked by my boy.
Yeah, see, that's where it's like it's tough. It's hard to root for him, but you know he's probably gonna win. That dude's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, Rockhold's terrifying, and I think he ends up just getting the jab dead. I do think that bare knuckle suits Perry good, but Rockhold is also going to be a son of a bitch if you give him a 10 count, because he's got a very quick recovery time when he gets rocked. So
yeah.
Imagine how good his recovery time is when he gets rocked. Now every time he gets dropped, he gets 10 seconds to get up and ready back up. I think that's going to prove to be bad. Bro, he gassed out immediately in his last combat sport bout because it was at fucking like 10,000 feet elevation.
And
bro, everybody gassed out in that fight card.
Yeah, his opponent did too. They ended up both.
Yeah.
That was a fun fight.
They both had their hands on their hips and shit, dude. Like,
yeah, that was a little different. And honestly,
at one point, Paulo Costa uppercutted him in the dick and thought he won the fight.
Yep.
He's all, thinking of juice.
I do feel like it's a different shape, different sized arena, I'll call it. I think Mike Perry, if he can get inside and stay inside on Luke, man, he can give him some trouble in there.
I think so too, man. I think he can give Luke trouble, but I hope he doesn't, and I don't think he will, because Luke Rockhold, brother.
He rocks, bro.
he rocks. He rocks. And he's gonna hold it down. He's gonna hold it down on Friday or Saturday night whenever he fights.
Nice.
Look, that guy's a beast, okay? And I think he gets it done. I think he's an absolute stud. I do like Mike Perry, be completely honest with you. I actually am a Mike Perry fan. But I think that there's going to be a reach difference there that's going to prove to be something. I also think that it's hard, it's hard to bet against someone that you've met. Yeah, no one actually likes Perry, right? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
He's a fun character. He's a fun character. I wouldn't say that like he's my favorite fighter.
Or person.
He's a fun character.
Saying that. Yeah, no one's saying that.
No one's saying he's my favorite person. He's the best. He's great.
That's fair.
He's a great dad.
He is hilarious.
I don't know if he's a bad dad. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That was dickish.
I don't say that.
You don't say that. We don't say that here at the MMAnomaly podcast.
Too far, man.
Too far, bro. So that's it for the Kinda Okay Parlay. I don't know. Are we gonna put something on bare knuckle right now? We're gonna do side chat after this.
We can side chat. We can think about it.
We'll side chat. We're going to do side chat after this, and we'll post something on the Twitter. Make sure you are following us on Twitter. It is at Jive Turkey Talk for this guy over here. I did it on the right side. Look at that.
Let's go.
And it's at MMAnomaly across all platforms here. If you're new here, if you're returning, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. And in the next episode, we will actually not just be talking about UFC, not just be talking about boxing. We might have to call in a celebrity tag team person to come in on the next episode because it's almost that time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fight fans of all shapes, sizes, and ages. One championship is coming to America. It's going to be great. 8 days, 21 hours, and 50 minutes from now, we will see Johnson versus Moraes 3.
Might be his last fight. Did you hear that?
It might be his last fight. Oh man, post stream. Oof.
Post stream.
We might have to give it to him. We might have to give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
Might have to give the people what they want. That is Friday, May the 5th, and Saturday, May the 6th. So it's a twofer as usual, one fashion. There's a lot of great fights on there. Other than the main event fight that we have that everybody knows about, the Mighty Mouse versus Moraes fight. There's also going to be that Steve Musameshi guy who's just absolutely incredible grappler. He tore like every ligament known to man in his last opponent's leg. It was disgusting. I actually have never seen Mary squirm so much watching a fight, and it was just grappling. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fine. And she's like, what's happening? Why isn't he tapping? It was bad. So that's super exciting. And there's also Stamp Fairtex on there, Muay Thai Beast. And one of the ones I'm most hyped about is for the first time in like 4 years, bro.
Are you gonna say it?
I did almost say Steve Buscemi, Eric. I see you. I did almost say Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi, the guy from all those Adam Sandler movies. No,
Nice.
But yeah, you already know I'm going to say Super Sage Northcutt coming back for the first time in a long time. And man, I am so stoked to see this kid fight. I was a big fan of his. Yeah, he called me sir. He said sir to me whenever I met him in person.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's literally that guy.
Good.
Like I was like, is he going to be that guy? And he's 100,000% that guy.
That's awesome. He's gonna win. He's gonna show out, man. He's ready. He's due.
I'm so excited about it, man. I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna be a great fight card. Yeah, I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to go through the fights with you guys. We also have Rod Tang on there. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. Mikey Musameshi. That's the guy's name. My gosh, I butchered the hell out of that a second ago. Yeah, Mikey Musameshi's on there. We got Rod Tang on there. We got Stamp Fairtex on there, who I am personally a huge fan of. Sage Northcutt is coming in there against Ahmed Mustaba. And we've got Ong Lun Song. Say that name 10 times fast. He's a fantastic fighter. He was actually on the last one card that I watched the entire card of. Very big fan of his. And I mean, those are just the fights on the main card. There's bonus bouts on there. There's like prelims. So it's going to be a really, really great night of fights. And it's also the same weekend as the next UFC pay-per-view. So super duper stoked.
That's a big one. Let's go.
Yeah. Get ready. Let's do our homework on that one, guys.
Yep, let's do it.
Why hasn't he been in movies and shit in the meantime? Okay, I don't know. Because I remember him saying on, I believe, the Helwani show that he literally wanted to go to one because of all the different media opportunities that they allotted him and gave him. Like they told him they were going to give him like video game things and this and that. I haven't seen him in anything. Mighty Mouse has been killing it with the whole like streaming himself playing video game stuff, but that's pretty much it. I don't know, dude. But again, thank you all for tuning in. Just a little one tangent there. And we will definitely have to hit up Ki, who actually works for the company one, and see if he's down to jump on an episode, even if it's just for a quick one segment. A little 1 minute Ki segment.
Nice. I like it.
So yeah, as always, thanks for joining us. Jive Turkey, anything you want to say to the folks before we send them off?
Man, thank y'all for coming. You know, as always, great seeing you, Olin. It's been a little while. I felt a little rusty, but it's good to get my sea legs back.
Let's go.
It was a great hang, as always. You know, great seeing you a couple weeks ago. And hey, got some good cards, good fight card this weekend, and we're going to go and check it out. And yeah, another big month as we approach, well, as you know, I wish we could queue up some Justin Timberlake, but it's gonna be May.
May.
Let's go. Big fights in May,
baby. Let's get
Come out.
Oh man, we might win a bunch. We might end up crashing down and have to yell Mayday. You never know. We'll have to see in May.
We back, baby. We on the rise. We rising up.
Baby. We're coming back. It's a come up, baby.
Come on.
Don't call it a comeback. We never left.
Let's go.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Probably another episode following up on the fights. We'll get one scheduled. Look for that to be scheduled. It'll pop up on the YouTube. That's why you need to have notifications turned on. If you don't have those turned on, make sure you're following us on Twitter. I'll post up something letting you know when we're going live. And feel free to retweet that as well. We love you guys. Appreciate it.
Let's go.
And we will see you next time. Later.